Mama, do 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 do, take the wind blow. I don't wanna die. I'll just be back this time again tomorrow. Carry on, carry on. It doesn't really matter. Do 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 do. Hello, people of Earth and all aligned species. Excuse me, I'm having a little trouble getting my fucking glove on here. I wash my hands. You'd think it'd go on easier, but okay, here we go. So, I'm making this. This isn't right. I'm making this specifically for my mom and my dad because he mentioned that he likes shrimp broccoli soup. So I thought I'd let him see this video because I always want my dad to see what I'm doing and have him be proud and everything like that. So anyway, yeah. So my mom is. I was talking about how much I love my Instant Pot the other day, and she said it sounded so good from the way I was describing it and how easy it is for me to cook that she was interested in it. Then I sent her a couple links. She looked around at a couple things, and then she called me back. She's like, that's a pressure cooker. And yeah, back in her day, I guess, pressure cookers were a little bit of a dangerous thing. And I was trying to explain to her that my Instant Pot, while being a pressure cooker, also does a million other things. In fact, I've got buttons here to make yogurt, to steam food, to make porridge, to make rice. Let's see. I can have a saute feature, which I'm going to use that'll saute things. It's a slow cooker. It's a chili maker. There's a button here just for beans and chili. There's a button here for both meat and stew. And there's a button here just for soup. So anyway, yeah, so I was going to just whip out a quick chicken soup just to show her how easy it is. And also, that it's not like a pressure cooker from back in the day. It's got a million security features built into it. And, chicken soup, 5 minutes. You put in some onions, some carrots, some celery, some chicken stock, some chicken, you zap it. It's beautiful and wonderful. Or stew, you add a little bit of flour to it. But I really am not in the mood for chicken soup, to be honest with you. And, because it's only me, this thing is a 3-quart maker, and I will usually end up with 3 quarts, even though I try not to. So I thought if I'm going to make something that I really, really am in the mood for, that would be cream of broccoli soup. This will be the 3rd time I've ever made cream of broccoli soup, and it's the 3rd video I've made, although one of them are hidden, I believe. One or more of those videos I didn't like the way they came out. So hopefully this video will be better, faster, stronger. $6 Million Man. Anyway, so I'm going to go get do a little bit of my prep work here just so I'm ready to go, and you guys don't have to sit here and watch that. So when it's done, I'll come back, and hopefully I won't accidentally press stop, but pause, which is what I want to do. All right, I'm just finishing up getting these carrots chopped up to almost nothingness. It's funny, I actually haven't, so I'll tell you a story. I haven't bought I haven't bought a carrot in probably 6 months since I've been living here, I would imagine. And that's because there's this program that I am a part of where a couple times a week I can go down and farmers or retailers or grocery stores or whatever, if they have something that's very close to its Best By date, or if they have something that doesn't look exactly, pretty to sell people produce-wise, then they put it out. I can come and get them for free, and carrots are always around. I, in fact, have some very odd-looking carrots all the time. They're quite tumescent and just not pretty carrots. So I haven't had to buy carrots in forever. So I've got the carrots chopped up, and the reason there's so many carrots in there is because this is, I was telling my mom, and I say it on every video, and I'll tell you guys again too, that when making most soups, a lot of soups, certainly chicken-based things, stews, things like that, there's a starting area for those things, a base for them, that's called a mirepoix in French. It's M-I-R-I-P-O-I-X, I think. And really, that's a very fancy way of saying onion, celery, and carrots chopped up. So and that's all it is. You just saute them in some butter or whatever, and then you do the rest of the soup on top of them. So this particular cream of broccoli soup does also start with a mirepoix. I've got the carrots right here. But the reason I have so many carrots is it's a bit of a carrot-hairy dish. Usually when you're making a mirepoix, you want, the most things you want is onions. You kind of want the onion dominant on that. However, this one is supposed to be quite carrot heavy. And so I've chopped up a lot of carrots because I had a lot of carrots to use up. That should be enough. And they're now sitting in my Instant Pot. And as soon as I get the, excuse me, the onion and the celery chopped up will be ready to go. In fact, I have an onion here that I saved from the last time I needed an onion. I always love when I remember to get these out of the fridge. Not, again, like I have more onions than I could ever know what to do with. They're also something that I almost never have to, never actually have to buy. There's always onions and potatoes and carrots aplenty. And then also there's a lot of like prepared foods. For some reason there's a lot of vegetable-based sushi there, which is okay. I like it. I eat it sometimes. But a lot of the local places who make like sandwiches and breakfast burritos and things like that, or a lot of salad stuff, it's there. Just and it's stuff that you can eat right there when you're ready to go. I love the sound of chopping both carrots and onions. There's something like ASMR about it, whatever that is. I like the crunchy sound, and it feels good to chop them up too. So this is about a little bit more than a half an onion. Just gonna make it a little bit finer, but other than that, should be perfectly cool. Yep, so I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna put this in the Instant Pot. Done and done. Now, I'll end up with so much mirepoix that it's actually like sometimes when I use my bigger 6-quart pot to make cream of broccoli soup, I end up putting all sorts of stuff in there. Cabbage and just a bunch of stuff. And when I move over to the 3-quart, and the reason I moved to the 3-quart is because if I have a 6-quart pot, for some reason I am just incapable of making less than 6 quarts. And I'm just one guy, and although my neighbors love me because I'm always following them around, giving them this, I don't want to throw out food, you know what I'm saying? So I'm constantly following them around and giving food, so they love me for that. But it's not always something that I want to be able to do. So I got a 3-quart one, but that one I have to be careful that I actually, like now, I had to stop doing the carrots and the onions because it'll turn into a carrots and onion soup, if you know what I mean. Oh, my apron has de-knotted itself. De-knotted. So I love the sound of like the chopping of vegetables. You know what else I love? I love a rainy night, such a beautiful sight. I like to feel the rain on my face, taste the rain on my wind. You know what makes me feel good? Anyone still know if Eddie Rabbitt is around? Man, I loved that song when I was growing up. It actually feels like I was growing up yesterday. That song is like from the 70s, early 80s. And I swear to God, for me, it was like it's from yesterday. Hang on, I'm going to peel these and wash them. Give them a quick peel. Sometimes the onions can go right in. Sometimes they need a little bit of a peel. These, I feel like they need a little bit of a peel. Da-da-da. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Done. Excellent. Now I'm going to be able to get away with just 2 stalks of... Let's see. God, you know, so I've had this Cuisinart knife for a long time. Even before I moved here, I got it from the secondhand store called Reuse. But I wasn't able to use it because it and a lot of its brothers and sisters, I have a whole set of these knives, they were dull. And I wasn't really having the means to sharpen up my knives. But both my cousin and I ended up buying electric knife sharpeners. Hers is much cooler than mine and much more expensive. But mine, like the amount of help that it brings me when I'm able to make my knives really, really sharp, I'll tell you, it's worth the $20 I spent on the thing, to be honest with you. And that's also something that's a little ASMR. Okay, so this is the celery. I think we're going to take just one more quick stalk, throw it in there, and then you guys are going to see me cooking the mirepoix, and then you'll see me making a soup, and then you'll see me saying goodbye, and it'll all be wonderful. Okay, so this celery, not going to use any more of it, but we are going to give this one a quick peel and a chop. Da 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 da, such a beautiful night. I feel the stain on my lips. I feel the rain on my lips. You know what makes me feel good? Peeled. Let's take off this poopy part, as my first head chef called them. Okay, that's good enough. So, I've got my Instant Pot here, and I've got that mixture of carrots, onion, and celery. Now, I usually prefer to make these. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I'm going to make it real easy. I was going to chop up some garlic things. I have them. But we're just going to use the lazy jarred garlic. I like the taste of it. And you guys don't need to sit here after you watch me chop up all that stuff and watch me chop up more garlic. So I'm going to take a heaping teaspoon of it right in there. Beauty. That's the garlic done. Okay. So I'm also going to add... Normally, as I say, I prefer to use butter. Actually, I'm going to use some butter, but I'm going to give it a little bit of... So this is like an 80-20 cooking oil. It's 80% sunflower oil, 20% extra virgin olive oil. But the main thing is the extra virgin olive oil did not go through a chemical extraction process. And while most sunflower oil does, the stuff in here doesn't. So it's a very cheap way. And I know the extraction process is supposed to be not bad at all, and they remove all the hexane and whatever. But I watched the video of that stuff, and if I can do without it, then I will. All right, let me go get my butter. Gonna cut off a couple pieces of this. It's a big pound of butter is what it is. There's one. There's another, and we'll put one more nice chunk in there. Good. All right, that's good. All right. Be right back. Okay, actually, I'm going to take a pause for the cause. I'll be right back. Okay, thank you for your hospitality or whatever. So I've got the mirepoix in there, the onions, garlic, celery, and carrots, sorry. I've got some butter and some oil in there. Now I'm going to saute it, and the reason I'm pointing it out, Ma, is because one of the things that you can't do with regular pressure cooker is if you want to put a sear on something, if you want to put, you know, meat in there that needs a little bit of a roughness or a bark, you know, frying. It's basically a fryer. You'll be able to make the meat or whatever. You'll be able to use this as a frying pan or, yeah, some sort of fryer before or after you do the pressure cooking. So I'm just going to press the saute button. I'm going to wait a minute. And, yeah, it's going to start sauteing. Hang on. Okay, it's starting to smoke and sizzle a little bit now. And, yeah, like Ma, if I wanted to, and Dad, I guess, if I wanted to, I could make a hamburger in this. I could fry eggs in it. I actually have when making like soups that had fried eggs in it. So yeah, it's indistinguishable from, it's small, but it's a fryer. And in a second it's gonna come up to steam. We'll see. Meanwhile, I'm gonna take these broccoli. I got 3 pounds of this stuff. Perfect shape. There was a typo on the label, apparently. And I picked it up. It was a bag that big of broccoli. It was a shame because just like 2 days before I had bought some broccoli, so that was a little disappointing. But yeah, I wouldn't have had to spend the money. But yeah, so now I'm just going to take this broccoli. This is the end of the 3 pounds of it. It still smells perfect. I'm just doing this while I'm waiting for the saute to really start sauteing and need my attention. Operating on multiple levels and multiple efficiencies. I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. The other thing that's important to know about the Instant Pot is if it detects that there's like stuff stuck to the bottom, like something burnt or crusty, it will not go into pressure. It will just keep saying, there's an error message. It'll say burnt or burn message. And when that happens, so when you're cooking with a Instant Pot, you always want to do what you call deglazing the pot. which means that you put some liquid in there, chicken stock, wine, water, whatever you want, and you rub it to get what's called the fond, the crunchy stuff at the bottom that's sticking to the pot, up and off of there. And there's two reasons that's a good thing. One, because it lets your pressure cooker come to pressure and cook. And then secondly, that stuff is often the most flavorful stuff that you get. So I'm never unhappy to do it. Now, I'm not deglazing it because this is not really, these vegetables in oil and butter don't need to be deglazed. But for some reason I found that when I do this, I do like to have a little white wine. So if I was going to deglaze it, I'd be deglazing it with this white wine. Can you hear it sizzling? Yeah, it's cooking. So what I'm going to do is, it's amazing, first of all, that I can keep white wine in this house and no one's using it. If this white wine, if Jen was still alive, I would have gone through 3 of these before I could get a chance to use one of them. She was a schnarfarf on alcohol for sure. So is my daughter Kirsten. I wouldn't keep wine in an obvious place around her either. But she's 30. She's a big girl. She likes a little wine. She likes a little wine. Okay, so I'm pouring some of this wine in there. There we go. Oh God, it makes it smell so good. I have a couple bottles of liquor here that I bought the day I moved in, and I haven't touched any of them. The only thing that I ever drink is there's this kind of like a Bailey's drink, and it's a cream. It's a cream drink. It's like salted caramel, and it's very smooth. It goes good in coffee, but it goes down smooth really well too. Actually, Gary, I remember when I was last at your house, when I was before that taking that cruise, I drank quite a lot of you had some of that in your house as well, and I went to town on it. Okay. Come on. Go higher in temperature. I just want to make sure that my temperature is as high as it can be. Yeah, it is. Good. So all I really want to do is I kind of want to sweat these just until they're translucent. But the truth is, once I pressure cook them, the carrots are going to become like butter. You know, and you're not going to have to worry about them being crunchy or whatever. They will get cooked. In fact, sometimes I don't even really go all the way into pressure cooking. What I'll do is I'll set it for 0 minutes at pressure cooking. So what that means is it'll come up to pressure, which involves quite a lot of heat. And then the moment it actually reaches full pressure, I have it programmed to turn itself off, because just getting it to full pressure is enough cooking for it to be ready to use for soups and stews and stuff. All right, good. Finish chopping some of this. This is going to go in next. You know what, while I'm here, I do like quite a bit of pepper in this. I have to be careful with the salt, though, I'll be honest with you, because I, for months, was using a 6-quart Instant Pot, and I found that, unfortunately, I wasn't thinking about it, but I was putting 6-quart Instant Pot salt in there when it was a 3-quart, and I over-salted a few key dishes, and that was very disappointing. Okay. Let me just finish up this broccoli. Okay, so I canceled the sauteing on this. It's still bubbling a little bit, but I did press cancel, so it stopped sauteing. Now I'm just going to put in my broccoli. Let me move you a little bit here. Here you go. Broccoli here. This should be enough broccoli for soup, I would say. I mean, it's broccoli soup, so you want to make sure there's a damn good bit of broccoli in there. I mean, otherwise it's carrot and onion soup. So just give this one in there. Now, it doesn't really need much spicing, to be honest with you. The salt and pepper is enough. Sometimes I add a little garlic pepper in there. And I did put some actual garlic from the jar in that. I do also have these, whoa. I have these, they're great. They're cloves of garlic that have been they've been peeled and they're just ready to be chopped up. The only thing about these that I find is that whatever the compound is that makes broccoli kind of rich and delicious and garlicky, it's a little bit lower in these peeled ones. So usually, if I'm normally going to use 2 of them, then I would use 3 of these. So I'm just going to chop 2 of these bad boys up, because I put the jarred garlic in it. And again, it doesn't matter if it doesn't really need to be that fine, because once it goes through the pressure, it's going to be like, you know, when you have soup and you've got big chunks of carrot and stuff in there, but they've been boiled, they come out soft. And I love that. I don't really get to eat a lot of carrots with my teeth, so even when they're soft, it's a treat. Okay, so there's the garlic. Now what I'm going to do, let me just give you a look at what we've got going on here. Let's see. There it is. There it is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with some broth. I'm going to use chicken broth. You could use water if you wanted to. You could use vegetable broth. You could use anything you want. I tend to like the chicken broth because it's richer. Water, I've had it with, it works just fine there. There we go. And I'm going to put broth in until it's over the line of vegetables. Okay, that's got it. I'm going to do just a little bit more. Just a tiny bit more. I mean, if I add a little bit more, it's going to be a little bit more soup that I have at the end of the day. Now, there is a fill line on this, and you want to make sure that you don't go over it. All right, you can see here I have how much soup, how much broth I have in there. I don't know why you can't. I got to get a new tripod. But you see in there, it's not like packed to the rim, but there's enough broth in there for us to have a decent amount of soup. So what I'm going to do now is, and Mom, this is one of those things I wanted to show you. This goes on in a very special way, and it's got about 80 million things on it to make sure that it can't come, you can't take it out while it's under pressure. So if you listen, did you hear that little song? That's when all the safety components are locked into place. If I undo it, the thing is, if it's under pressure, it will not let me do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit pressure cook, and I'm going to put it in for, come on, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6. So it could actually, I could have just put it in for like 1 minute of pressure cooking, because again, as it builds up pressure, it gets hotter and hotter. So it's now turned on. It's going to start building up pressure. Anytime before the pressure gets built up, I can take the top off. Once the pressure is there, and you can see, because a little button on top that pops up, and until that button goes down, you can't open it. It should probably take like 7 to 8 minutes to come to pressure, and then it'll cook for that 5 minutes I programmed it for at pressure, and then it will switch into something called keep warm. It's done the 5 minutes of pressurized cooking that I asked it to do. If I haven't gotten to it, it tries to keep it warm. So we're going to do that right now. It's 4:51. We'll see exactly how long it takes to cook with both the 5-6 minutes I programmed in here and coming to pressure, and I'll be back when it does. Okay, so between the time it needed to come to pressure and then the time it spent at pressure, which was 6 minutes, it was roughly 20 minutes, I would say. The time is 5:13. We put it in at 4:51, I think. So yeah. Okay, so now this is ready to be unleashed into the world. It's got, if you see, there's a little button here that says keep warm, which means that it's gonna keep warming the contents of the pot until I can get to it, or if I want it kept warm while I use it. You know, sometimes you're eating soup, you don't want to let it get cold or anything. So now what I could do, and this is especially for Mom, excuse me. Okay, so what I could do if I wanted to, if Mom, if you were uncomfortable releasing the pressure and having the pressure come out all at once in a giant thing, is you could do why is this happening? Oh my God. Okay, there's something, what you can do is called a natural release. That's where you take off the keep warm, just turn that off, and then you wait about 10 or 15 minutes, and it will naturally bleed off all the pressure. You don't have to do anything, you just come to it, and once it's done, you can see there's this little button here, and if the button is up in the air, that means it's still under pressure, and if the button goes down, it's not under pressure. Or you can do an immediate release, which is very dramatic, but nothing to be scared of. It's where we go and we release the pressure that's in there so we can get to the food faster. Now, the only thing, Mom, I will tell you, or Dad, is that when you release the pressure, it's steam that's coming out. So you can do it under a metal vent, but don't do it under your cabinets or whatever, because the steam will eventually get to the bottom of the wood on your cabinet and make it rot out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to release the pressure on this. Doing this usually makes me pee, so we'll see if that happens or not. So I've got a little switch here. It says seal or vent. So I'm going to turn it down into vent, and there we go. Very dramatic, right? Very dramatic. Huh. You know what? I'm going to have to replace this tripod. Okay, it was a piece of shit anyway, but still. But still. Okay. So the little button here, I can hear that the venting is slowing down. Once the little button drops, which it will. Thankfully, I just peed, so I didn't have to pee, but that sound usually does make me pee. All right, waiting for it to finish it. Now I do have to pee just because I mentioned it. Getting old sucks. All right, so it's the last of the pressures. I feel like we're going a little long here at this part, but it's almost done. It's almost done. It's almost done. It's almost done. There we go. I'm watching the little button now. And it dropped. That means it's safe to open and it will release the top of this when I went to take it off. Here we go. Now, that is a boiling cauldron of soup and broccoli. See it there? But it's not yet the soup we want. We're making cream of broccoli soup, not just broccoli soup. So there's a couple things we need to do. But I do want to check on one thing. Just give me a second here. There it is. Okay, Ma, just to kind of convince you on how soft this makes it, I kept a carrot out here. Ooh, very hot, very hot, very hot. Very hot carrot. I didn't chop it up, and I just wanted to show you that it is so mushy and ready. Like, you could make it crisper, but it's ready. Like, it's transformed itself from something that's hard and chewy. It's made it into a delicate thing that you would love to have in a soup. So as soon as it cools off again. But the other thing we need to do is, it's broccoli soup, but it's not yet cream of broccoli soup. So let's make that happen. The first thing I'm going to do, and this isn't part of the normal recipes that you see, it's my recipe, is I'm going to take some sour cream, and I'm just going to put a giant scoop of sour cream in there. Boom, boom. Excellent. And now I'm going to go get some half and half and put it in there. Half and half and put it in there. Something there moved. Let's see. You need a little bit more. There we go. That's enough half and half. So that's the cream part of it. Now, okay, Ma, here's the carrot. You can see mushy, mushy, mushy. I'm going to eat it right down, and you know when I eat it, it's not that crunchy because I don't have teeth. Okay, so now we want to blend this. Make it into the smooth, wonderful soup we all know. First, I'm going to give it a little taste, though, and see if it needs anything done to it. Definitely needs a little salt. And the cheese is going to really change it too. So what are we going to do here? Oh, I'm going to use some accent. Accent seasoning is good for almost everything. There we go, accent. Good. I'm going to add a little bit more garlic powder. And some pepper. And some salt. Again, being careful not to go overboard with salt. And really, the taste needs to be judged as to when we put the cheese in, and we're going to start doing that right now. Good. Much better. Okay. You know what? First, what we're going to do? First, we're going to blend it. And for that, I'm going to take out my amazing immersion blender that I bought from Aldi's for 14 bucks. Can't get a better deal anywhere. Aldi's is wonderful, I'm telling you. I'm in love with that place. That little center aisle they have, which makes all the cool, like, you know, things that you can, like I said, normally a good immersion blender, certainly around $30 or $40. I got this for, like I said, 14. I have so much stuff from there. They did so many good things for my kitchen. Okay, I just want to get to the end of this extension cord here so I can plug my blender in. There we go. Okay. Okay. The only thing you want to do now is you want to make sure that you put the blender all the way in the liquid, otherwise it's going to shoot around the whole place. I'm just going to test and make sure this bad boy's on. It is. Whoa, see, like that. Okay, so that, aside from coating everything in the house, which really pisses me off that it did that, but whatever, I'll clean it up. So now, it needs cheese. It's going to be the final step of this bad boy, hopefully. Hopefully it is. So I'm using Fiesta Blend, which is kind of a Mexican mix. It's Monterey Jack cheddar and something called quesadilla, and asadero cheese. I don't know what it is, but it's good cheese to put on a taco or a burrito, stuff like that. So that's good enough for me. I made this using just cheddar. I find that I like the flavor profile of this just a little bit more. Okay, we're going to use a lot of cheese in this because that's the way I like it. Plus, this whole cheese is $1.97. So we're going to put this in here. That's certainly half of it. We're going to let it melt in there for a little bit. Put some more in. Oop, that's a lot right there. And once that's melted in there, I like to save a little bit to put on top of the soup. Oh, he's such a mess here. Okay, I'm gonna get my tasting bowl. Yes, I have a very particular bowl for tasting things. You know it. And the reason it's very good for tasting is it's got a shallow, wide part here, and it allows whatever I'm cooking to cool down enough for me to get a taste without having to run around like a lunatic. Okay, so the cheese has had enough time to melt in there. We're going to take that. It looks beautiful. I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on top of it. Sprinkle on top. There we go. And I am going to have a little taste. Perfect. Really, really, really good. Excellent. Okay, well, that's it. It's done. I'd let you guys watch me cleaning up if it might get you any jollies. Well, being that you're my parents, probably watching me clean up and wash dishes is going to give you a little jollies. Now I'm just going to take the soup, put it into some soup containers, put it in the fridge, eat a lot of it tonight, and call it a day. Thank you very much for watching. If you are not my parent and you're watching, thank you for watching this. And Mom, so this thing really works good. We'll talk about it the next time after you watch this video, but I think it'd work out for you. If not, not. Okay, bye guys.